All right, so we're going to do a review on Andrew's 2008 R8 from a Mustang owner's perspective. I have never driven an R8, so we're going to check it out today.
Yeah, that's magnetic ride control.
SL65. So the first thing I noticed is I'm sitting way down in the cockpit. This has got a super fancy steering wheel, red stitch and carbon fiber. We've got some nice paddle shifters right here. And if we go forward, we're gonna go off into the ocean. We've got carbon fiber all around me. I'm in a sea of carbon fiber. This is Andrew's car. He's young enough to be my son. He's actually my personal training client and buddy. So he's got an R8. This is an 08. It's got 24,000 miles on it and it's in really good condition. So we're gonna take this car out and see what it will do. So I just wanna talk about the daily drivability and then if it's a weekend vehicle or something that you could actually drive. So this is a dual clutch transmission?
Single clutch.
Single clutch.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I do feel it working so far. It feels a little different. So that's automatic mode.
Now the paddle shift?
Yep.
But
I do feel the all-wheel drive already working. Let's just put it in automatic first. I just want to get used to it. So it's going to do its own thing. So first thing, so it's really weird. So if you're in automatic mode, so I'm already in fourth gear. If you couldn't tell, like I was lurching forward because the automatic transmission, it lets completely out of the throttle and then gets back into the throttle as you're driving in between shifts. So the way that this transmission works, it drives like you're driving a manual transmission, but it's an automatic transmission. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but the street's a little rocky because the wind is blowing so hard. We're in the Malibu canyons. So first thing I noticed is you feel like you are basically in a cockpit. Pretty tight in here. The seat's pretty tight. The steering wheel, I can drop this down just a little bit. How do I need to go around those? Yeah. How much clearance do you have? Okay. Then do I adjust the steering wheel height right here?
Yeah, you just
pull this down.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, for example, I'll show you how this transmission works. It really exaggerates the shifts. We'll go into manual mode in a second. What's that? Yeah. So I just ran onto the little rumble strip in the middle of the lane to pass a biker, and I noticed that the suspension is very firm, very tight, probably a little bit rough. I don't know, how is it to drive in the city?
Yeah, it's a little bit rough.
A little rough?
In my opinion though, it's for like an exotic, I guess, super-ish car. It's pretty good for a daily driver.
Mm-hmm. So we've got a GT3 behind us and there's rocks all over, so I'm just gonna let these guys pass. I'm just gonna let these guys pass. And a 488 and then a GT86. That's awesome. Only in Malibu. All right, so let's go into manual mode because I'm kind of over that whole shifting.
Sport too, or no?
No, not yet. Right. So, all right. Okay. So, as far as daily drivability, I don't see why you couldn't daily drive this thing. I'd probably just manually shift the car instead of let the automatic transmission shift. What do you think?
Yeah, no, completely.
Yeah, because the automatic, the way it shifts, it lurches and then it relaxes and then it goes into the next gear. I mean, it's like someone driving a manual transmission that is just learning. You probably get used to it as you drive it. If you drive it a lot in automatic mode, you know how to deal with it or make it feel less intrusive, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed one of the biggest things is that the automatic mode will actually wear out the clutch, just, you know, downshifting from second to first. So when you drive manual, obviously, what I do is I'll go to second, then go low RPMs and switch to neutral whenever I'm going to stop, and then obviously switch back to first whenever.
So it's not shifting for you constantly?
No, exactly. That's whenever I'll do manual.
All right, so as far as daily driver though, the next thing is like consumables as far as tires and brakes. Have you had to do the tires yet?
I have not, but I have not tracked this thing.
Yeah.
When I did the research before buying it, I estimated about like $1,600 a year in tires and oil for how much I'd be driving it. So it's not too bad per se, but with that being said, obviously if other R8 owners will take the cars to the track, go hard in the canyons and stuff like that, so they can be pushing a lot more money.
Yeah. All right, so as far as the acceleration, so I'm 230 pounds, Andrew's about what?
160.
160, so we've got a good amount of weight in the car. This is the V8 model, this is not the V10 model. This has plenty of power for the canyons. Now, if you're gonna do like highway roll racing, you might not be happy with the power, but as far as a daily driver, as far as a canyon car, as far as hitting the actual tracks, this car's got plenty of power. It accelerates. I looked at the track times. It looks like it runs about between 111 and 113 miles an hour in the quarter mile, which is actually on par with about it probably runs a mid to low 12 second because of the all-wheel drive. You can launch it.
Yeah.
But those are the mile per hour. Now, it's a high revving V8. It looks like it redlines here at 8,000 RPMs, which is crazy. So I've got a 15 Mustang. This is definitely an R8, a lot more expensive car. Even though these cars run about the same mile an hour, this car would smoke me because of the launch, basically the fact that it can actually launch. The brakes on this car, we're gonna do a little brake test, just a little short one. So the brakes have a really nice, basically, the thing that I have to compare it to is the performance pack brakes on the Mustang, the Brimbos. When you press on the Brimbos and the Mustang, it is a very immediate, it's almost too much. On this, it feels like you can modulate it better because you can, there's a lot more room in the pedal.
Yeah, suspension ride's hard.
A little bumpy. Does this have adjustable suspension?
Yeah, it has magnetic ride control.
Yay! Yay! Alright, I'm making myself sick now. Sport mode off, suspension. So it does have a suspension, hang on, suspension sport mode on.
Oh, turn on sport too?
Just a second, let me see what this feels like for a second. Okay, it's definitely one suspension movement back up. There's no, in the Mustang, it bobs around a bit. The steering's pretty damn direct. It feels great turning in. The suspension mode helps a lot. It feels like it turns in better even, which seems weird. Yeah. And then let's go into the sport mode with this thing just flows down this road really well. Yeah, this car is great, man. I wasn't a big fan, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of this car before I saw yours and I started looking at it and paying attention to the details of it, and then started driving it. And then, I mean, this is probably the best car, exotic slash high performance, that you can get for this price point, as far as like looks, performance, feel, driving feel. The fact that you can daily drive it, and they seem to be reliable. Like, you can actually put some miles on these cars without them breaking down. I mean, what else would be at this price point for 70? Let's say 70 grand. Let's say
you could probably get a Hellcat or GTR used
right
for about that price.
I don't think they'd be quite as refined as this car though. The R8 might not have the drag racing capabilities, obviously. At 420 horsepower, but as far as for like a daily driver and a weekend car, something that looks exotic and looks great on top of that, this is a pretty awesome car. I didn't think that it would drive this good.
So Jake, what would you say like is your favorite thing that this thing has, the R8 has, compared to the Mustang? Like, I
mean, it's just so much different. Like, the fact it's everything that I'm touching right now. Like, the steering wheel's nice and thick, the paddles feel really good, the way that the seat's kind of holding me in, the way that your body position is lower in the car, it really feels like a sports car or something special. And then the steering is really nice. I like the fact that the engine is behind you yelling at you when you're in the throttle, and it's not overpowering. It's pretty manageable. It's pretty much a great car for the canyons, and I don't know, it just seems like a really smooth, it seems like it would be really reliable too. It's not overworking the engine, it's not stressing the engine out too much to drive.
Do you think you're able to control the speed better in the R8 or the Mustang?
Oh, definitely the R8, because the body movements aren't as much. Like the body, like in the Mustang, it's throwing its weight around more. This car has super low profile tires. The suspension, the weight distribution is totally different because the engine's in the back. Now I haven't got to push the car at the limit because we're on the canyons, but just from going through these canyons in a sporty, kind of fast, sporty-like fashion, it's pretty. It feels awesome. It feels exotic, and the way these brakes are, they're not. You can go into the brake, and as you give more brake, it gives you more. On the Mustang, as soon as you touch it, it's 100%. So this is a little. The inputs are a little bit more
relaxed. Yeah,
dynamic or relaxed, or however you want to say it. Pretty awesome car. I wasn't a fan, to be honest. I was like, okay, that's all right, that's cool, that's cute. And then after driving it, it's kind of, I get it now. Yeah, man, I like the R8.
So if you were to give this like a rating, what would it be?
Oh, all right, so for daily drivability, I would probably give it about an 8. For weekend warrior, I'd give it about a 9. I mean, it just depends on where you go. As a total package, I think it's, I mean, what else do you need? Like, yeah, this car's awesome. I mean, like, all right, so the exhaust is pretty muffled, you know? So maybe it could use a little bit more of a sport exhaust. Maybe they did that later on down the road. Yeah, so it's loud enough for, like, if you're daily driving it, where it would be crazy. It wouldn't drive your neighbors crazy. But if you wanted it to be like a little bit louder when you're ripping through the canyons like that, that would be one thing. But there's nothing really to complain about this car. I mean, I don't really.
I mean, you're pretty tall.
Yeah, I'm 5'11", so I'm comfortable. The cockpit is not huge, but that's what it is. It's a cockpit. This is like a exotic / sports car. So the interior is extremely nice for an 08. The gauges look super high end. Like overall, I'd probably have to give this car like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10, just of the whole package, like if you consider everything. Now, if you're just looking for a drag car, go get a Hellcat or a GTR and save some of your money actually and put it into the car. You can have like a 9-second Hellcat or a GTR very easily. You can also get one of these that are not as nice, that don't have 24,000 miles for, what's the cheapest ones you've seen, 50, 55?
I mean, yeah, you could probably get them for 50 if you find an old one.
Yeah, so maybe even 49. You don't have to get one that's the nicest, the nicest car, but that's Andrew. He gets the nicest car. So
with that being said, what do you think, Mustang or R8?
Well, definitely. Well, what I would do, Andrew, what I would do is I would probably, I would sell this car for 70.
All right.
I'd buy a new GT500.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm just joking. I mean, that's a $40,000 car new. And how much was this car new? Do you know?
New? I have no idea.
Over about 100?
No, a little more. I think
120. The new ones are 200.
Yeah. V10 Plus or more.
Yeah, so I can't really compare it to the Mustang, because the Mustang is like a third of the value brand new. I mean, there's no comparison. The Mustang is really good at going straight, obviously. The new suspension on the Mustang is great. It's not like a GT350. The GT350 would be more something I could compare to this. I could turn that for a couple $1,000. I could make that close to GT350 handling wise. But it feels like the straight line performance they're kind of similar, to be honest. But just from sitting in these nice snug seats, the way that the steering wheel feels, the way that the cockpit is, the engine's behind you, you can see the carbon fiber wing. All this stuff adds up for like a driving experience is pretty special and unique.
So the most important question of all, would you ever own one of these?
Would I ever own one? Probably not, just because I'm a value-oriented guy and I'm a cheap ass, kind of, some people say. So it's a little bit too rich for my blood.
Standard.
Yeah. But I can totally get like why you own it, and I totally understand that. I mean, it does have sex appeal. It is a good value if you're in the market for something that looks exotic. I mean, what's the next thing you can get is like an older Lamborghini.
Yeah, or Ferrari.
Or Ferrari, and those aren't as reliable as this, from what I understand. I think you can just get in this and drive this every day, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the best thing, is you can just get in this car and drive it every day. So. Hey, it won't do burnouts like a Mustang. It won't do donuts, and it doesn't sound like a Mustang. And it's expensive to get the exhaust on it. But as far as like exotic looks, sex appeal, curb appeal, overall fit and finish, like I love the way that these doors open and close. Even just this latch, how it has the double clunk clunk. Everything about the car is super high quality. And it feels great. Why'd you buy the car, Andrew?
So I actually bought this car because, you know, for only being 20 years old, it's not super expensive. It's not the price of a brand new Lamborghini or anything like that, or even a used one per se. But it's, you know, it's a good value, and the maintenance on it, you know, you can do pretty, annual maintenance for pretty cheap. And like oil changes and stuff like that for kind of like a supercar normally go for really expensive, but for the R8, you can get it done. You can do it yourself if you really want to. But overall, I just found it to be like a great value, great drive, great in the canyons, handles well, performance is incredible, and I mean, it's a badass car,
But let's just be honest.
All right.
You like this car because the girls like this car.
It does have sex appeal.
Yes,
I'll tell you that.
I know what, Andrew, you're 20. You're not fooling me. You can say all that stuff about all this, da-da-da. You trying to get girls in this car. I know what you're trying to do.
Hey, man, it's a great car.
It bumped up your status.
Reasons.
It bumped up your status level by at least 1.5 points.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, if you were like an 8, you're like a 9.5 now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. R8 review from a Mustang owner's perspective. Awesome car. The only downside from coming from a Mustang owner is like with a Mustang, I know you can put a supercharger on it for like $7 grand and make 700 horsepower. A supercharger for this car is like 15 grand, 20 grand. Jeez. So look, if you're wanting to modify a car and do and have it go down the drag strip fast, this is not the car. There's a lot cheaper cars to do that. But if you want to buy, okay, for 70 grand, let's say for 55 to 70 grand, this is probably the best looking car that you can daily drive, has good performance, has good fit and finish, and all these things. I get it. I get why people love these cars. So I get it. Now, if you want to build a drag car, this is not the car to do it. We out. What's going on, guys? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button right now. I'm going to keep you updated with the latest Mustang and automotive news. I'm also going to give you the Lethal Performance discount code if you're interested in buying performance parts for your Mustang or other vehicle. Hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.